Hello everyone. I'm Lena. This book summary library will help you relax and absorb knowledge that will be useful in the future, even in your busy daily life. Today, I'd like to talk about a book called Life After Google. This book explains why Google, which created the current digital society, is facing its limits and the new era that awaits us beyond that. First, imagine. Nowadays, when you search on your smartphone, look at a map, or enjoy a video, you are mostly using Google services, right? Don't you think that this is like the air in our lives? But have you ever thought about how our data is being handled behind the scenes of this convenience? For example, Google is accumulating information when you search for today's weather or cheap shoes. And they have created a business model that uses that data to make money by displaying advertisements. But there are problems with this method. There is a risk that personal information will not be protected, and concerns about how data will be handled. It can be said that this is what is causing Google to lose its important trust. In addition, this book also talks about the potential of the next wave of technological innovation after Google, that is, blockchain. Some people may wonder, what is blockchain? Simply put, it is a new system that changes the centralized data management of the past and allows individuals to handle data more safely. For example, imagine a system that allows you to send money safely without a large bank. Aren't you excited about how convenient and innovative it is? I hope that through today's talk, you will be at least a little interested in the future of technology and society. So, let's dig deeper together into Google's successes and challenges, and the dawn of a new era. Please listen. About Google's success and limitations. First, let's look at how Google has built its current position. Google started with a grand vision of organizing all information and making it accessible to people all over the world. For example, information that in the past could only be found in thick encyclopedias or libraries can now be easily obtained with just a smartphone. It was Google's search engine and cloud technology that processes huge amounts of data that made this possible. But there is also a problem here. Google offers free and convenient services in exchange for selling our time and attention to advertisers. Some people call this the price of free. For example, have you ever noticed that the links that appear at the top of search results are actually advertisements? They are designed to make it difficult to tell at first glance that they are advertisements, but in fact, their location is determined by the money paid by advertisers. Furthermore, Google collects data on what we search for every day, the links we click, the apps we use, and so on. This is called big data, and it is not just a collection of numbers and letters, but a reflection of our behavior and preferences. For example, have you ever had the experience of, I've been into mountains lately, so when I looked up climbing equipment, the next day I saw a lot of ads for climbing boots and backpacks? This is exactly how Google's advertising model works. This model has its limitations. First of all, if there are too many ads, users will feel annoyed. And above all, there is a risk that the safety of personal information will be threatened. If Google's data center is hacked, a large amount of personal information could be leaked. This sense of insecurity is gradually causing users to lose trust. For example, how would you feel if one day your emails or photos were suddenly seen by someone? More and more people are thinking, it was convenient, but if there are such risks, maybe it's better not to use it. This is the crisis of trust that Google is facing. But the important thing here is that this crisis will be the catalyst for new technological innovation. After this, I will talk about new possibilities such as blockchain. Some of the topics may be a little difficult, but I will explain them in an easy-to-understand way with concrete examples, so don't worry. A new era brought by blockchain. Next, I will talk about blockchain, which is said to be the next big thing after Google. The word blockchain has been seen a lot in the news and on social media recently. But what exactly is it? Many people may have the question, How can we do this? Let's start by explaining it with a simple example. For example, let's say you want to send money to a friend. In the current system, you send the money through a bank. Here, the bank acts as an intermediary and checks whether the transaction is correct and records it. However, there are problems with this system. There is a risk that transfer fees will be charged and that transfers will be delayed if the system stops. There is also a possibility that the bank itself will be hacked. This is where blockchain comes in. This technology does not require a central intermediary such as a bank. Instead, transactions are recorded across the entire network so that anyone can check them. For example, when you send money to a friend, the details of the transaction are stored in units called blocks. These blocks are then connected to other blocks and recorded together with past transactions in a chain-like format. This is where the name blockchain comes from. To put it more simply, it's like everyone in a class has a notebook to record their transactions. Even if one person tries to write a false record, the system can point out that it's wrong by comparing it with everyone else's notebooks. This transparency and safety are the major strengths of blockchain. Furthermore, this technology can be applied not only to money, but also to contracts and data management. For example, a mechanism called smart contracts allows contract conditions to be programmed and executed automatically. It looks like this. If you set a condition in advance that, when A delivers the product to B, B will pay for it, the transaction will be completed the moment the condition is met. This will prevent problems such as, the product does not arrive, or, the payment is not made. In this way, blockchain provides a system in which anyone can trade with peace of mind. And if this technology becomes widespread, we may be able to realize a future in which data and value can be managed without relying on a centralized system like Google. Of course, there are still many challenges. For example, the enormous amount of electricity required to run the blockchain and the learning costs required to understand how to use the technology. But looking at history, any new technology has evolved by overcoming challenges at first. Doesn't it get exciting to think about the possibilities of this future? Next, I'll talk about how this blockchain technology will change Google's dominance and what that future looks like. Misunderstandings and limitations of AI, artificial intelligence. What kind of image do you have when you hear the word AI? Some of you may be worried that AI will soon surpass human intelligence and take over all jobs. But don't worry. This book, Life After Google, explains that this scary image of AI is actually a misunderstanding. One of the reasons why a future in which AI dominates everything is unrealistic is a difficult but important theory called Kurt Gödel's incompleteness theorem. To put it very simply, this theory means that, no matter how excellent a system is, it will never be complete on its own. In other words, a system called AI always requires external help, that is, programming and instructions from humans. For example, if there is a world of the movie Terminator, in which AI upgrades itself and dominates humans, it will not come true unless there is someone to program the AI to do so. Furthermore, no matter how smart it may seem, AI is ultimately just a tool to analyze data. Rather than predicting the future, it is simply calculating what might happen based on past data. Let's consider a concrete example here. Self-driving cars can be said to be the forefront of AI. This technology is designed to learn a lot of road data and avoid accidents. But what if a rock falls suddenly or an animal with unexpected movements jumps out onto the road? Dealing with such unexpected events is not an easy task for AI. Please remember that AI has its limitations. So there is no need to think that AI is scary or humans will lose. Rather, it is more important for us humans to think about how we use AI and what kind of future we will create. Challenges in the American education system. When you hear the word school education, what comes to mind? I'm sure many of you would answer, preparing for the future. However, Life After Google points out that the American education system is not creating the future, but rather hindering progress. For example, the author says that many universities are too focused on how to stop problems, rather than on the idea of how to create the future. Simply put, they only teach how to prevent environmental and social problems, instead of learn new technologies to pave the way for the future. This in itself is important, but the author points out that there is a lack of education that fosters positive creativity. To be more specific, famous universities such as Harvard University have recently been making many efforts to avoid fossil fuels. However, this policy has been criticized for being too biased toward how to stop using current energy rather than how to create new energy. The book states that such policies teach students to stop doing something rather than the creativity to create solutions. On the other hand, there is a ray of hope. The emergence of new educational models such as the Thiel Foundation. This foundation sends out the message that you don't have to go to college to put your ideas and projects into shape. The Thiel Foundation actually provides young entrepreneurs with about 10 million yen to help them realize their projects, even if it means taking a leave of absence or dropping out of college. For example, one student developed sensor technology necessary for self-driving cars with the support of the Thiel Foundation. As a result, Toyota, one of the world's largest automobile manufacturers, adopted this technology. Isn't that amazing? Also, a young man named Vitalik Buterin created an innovative blockchain platform called Ethereum with the support of the foundation. This is another great example of creative efforts that are not bound by the education system coming to fruition. Looking at these efforts, the future of education may lie in unconventional learning and the power to believe in your own ideas. We should take inspiration from this trend and reconsider how we learn and challenge ourselves. Applications of blockchain technology. Now, let's take a look at some examples of how blockchain technology is used in the real world. In addition to Bitcoin, which we mentioned briefly earlier, blockchain is opening up new possibilities in many fields. First, we should pay attention to the platform called Ethereum. Ethereum does not only use cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, but also provides a mechanism called smart contracts. What this is a technology that programs conditions and automatically executes a contract when they are met. Let's take a concrete example. Let's say you buy a used car. Normally, the buyer and seller meet, sign a contract, and once payment is made, the keys to the car are handed over. However, using smart contracts, this process can be completely digitized. Once the car payment is made, the program can be set to automatically transfer ownership of the car to the buyer. This can prevent problems such as, I paid the money but I can't get the keys. Furthermore, this technology is not only used in the field of finance, but also in the world of art and entertainment. Recently, you may have heard the term NFT, non-fungible token. This is also a technology that utilizes blockchain technology. NFT is a mechanism that records unique data, such as digital art and music, and proves its ownership. This allows artists to buy and sell their works more safely. There is also a platform provided by a company called Blockstack, which uses blockchain to enable developers to create secure applications. For example, this eliminates the need to store users' personal information on a central server. This means that the risk of large-scale data leaks is greatly reduced. This is also opening up new avenues to counter the control of companies like Facebook and Google. Looking at these applications, we can see that blockchain is not just a technology, but has the potential to make our daily lives more convenient and safer. However, there are also challenges. For example, the technology requires a lot of electricity, and there are concerns about its impact on the environment. Another challenge is the learning cost for the general public to understand the technology. Still, there is no doubt that this technology has the potential to change the world. As blockchain continues to evolve, it is important for us to deepen our knowledge and prepare for the future in order to maximize its potential. The return of hardware technology. You've probably heard the word cloud a lot in the past few years, haven't you? Giant companies like Google have used cloud technology to manage and process large amounts of data to provide us with convenient services. However, it has become clear that the cloud also has its limitations. The key to this is actually the evolution of hardware. First of all, the cloud technology that companies like Google rely on requires huge amounts of electricity and huge data centers. For example, Google's data center in Oregon consumes a huge amount of energy every day, which is also a heavy burden on the environment. If this continues, it is clear that even more efficient methods of data processing are required. The focus here is on new hardware technologies developed by companies like NVIDIA. NVIDIA is known in the field of graphics processors, GPUs, and is developing highly energy-efficient chips. These chips are used not only for AI learning and game graphics processing, but also for sensors in self-driving cars and complex simulations. For example, let's consider self-driving cars. This technology requires the car to instantly grasp the situation around it and process a huge amount of data, right? Road signs, pedestrians, other cars, weather, etc. must all be recognized at the same time. This is made possible by chips specialized in parallel processing, such as GPUs. While traditional processors could only process one task at a time, GPUs can process multiple tasks simultaneously, which greatly improves efficiency. In addition, a new technology called Golem has emerged as an alternative to Google's cloud model. This is also called Airbnb for computers, and the idea is to share the processing power of your unused computer with others and combine them to create a virtual supercomputer. For example, 3D graphic rendering and complex simulations can be performed cheaply and safely without using traditional large-scale data centers. In this way, the resurgence of hardware plays an important role as we overcome the limitations of cloud technology and explore new ways of processing data in the new era. And these technological innovations have the potential to break down centralized models like Google's and build a new decentralized future. Of course, there are challenges to technological evolution. For example, it is necessary to incur the cost of developing new hardware and to develop the infrastructure to popularize it. However, looking back at history, humanity has opened up new possibilities with each technological evolution. This hardware revolution can be considered a part of that. Economic stability and the limits of cryptocurrency. What image do you have when you hear the word cryptocurrency? A new form of money? Or a speculative object with volatile price fluctuations? Cryptocurrency has the potential to become the money of the future, but it also has some challenges. Here, we will look at its limitations from the perspective of economic stability. First, the gold standard is often used as an example when talking about economic stability. The gold standard is a system in which each country's currency was guaranteed based on the value of gold. In this system, the value of the currency is linked to a solid standard, gold, so the economy is less likely to fluctuate greatly. For example, gold does not corrode and has a limited supply, so its value is relatively stable. So what about cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin? In fact, Bitcoin is also designed to aim for stability like the gold standard. For example, Bitcoin has a fixed maximum supply of 21 million coins, which will never increase. Also, to obtain new Bitcoins, complex computational problems must be solved through a process called mining, which is similar to the gold standard process of digging for gold. But here's the problem. Economically, Bitcoin, which has a fixed supply, cannot flexibly respond to increases and decreases in demand. As a result, its value is prone to extreme fluctuations. For example, some may remember that the price of Bitcoin soared from about $1,000 to more than $19,000 between 2017 and 2018, then plummeted again. Such volatile price fluctuations are problematic for a stable currency. Another problem with Bitcoin is that it is not suitable for everyday transactions. For example, let's say you use Bitcoin to buy a cup of coffee. It can take several minutes to several tens of minutes for a Bitcoin transaction to be completed on the blockchain. The price may fluctuate during that time, which makes it difficult to make actual payments. Despite these challenges, cryptocurrencies are said to have the potential to change the future. The reason is that they can build a decentralized economic system without the intervention of central banks or governments. In particular, in countries with severe inflation and in areas where the banking system is not trusted, cryptocurrencies can be a new hope. Furthermore, the new value that cryptocurrencies bring is not in the currency itself, but in the blockchain technology behind it. If this technology is applied, it is possible to revolutionize not only the economy, but all other fields, such as data management and contracts. For example, smart contracts allow contracts to be executed safely without the need for fees or intermediaries. In this way, cryptocurrencies have a large number of challenges, but if they can be overcome, they may be the key to changing the economic system of the future. How we understand and utilize this technology will be the key to opening up the next era. Problems with the free model. How much of the free services you use on the internet do you use? Searching on Google, watching videos on YouTube, sending emails with Gmail, and so on, all of these can be used without paying. But behind the scenes of what appears to be free, we are actually paying with time and data. This free model hides an invisible problem. First, let's dig a little deeper into Google's business model. Google earns more than 95% of its total revenue from advertising revenue. This is a system in which Google collects search history and clicked ad data when we use Google services, and generates revenue by selling this data to advertisers. For example, have you ever searched for new sneakers and the next day found sneaker ads everywhere? There are problems with this system. The first is the lack of transparency about how our data is handled. Many people are unaware of how much personal data is being used and where it is being sent behind the free services we use casually. The second is the degradation of the user experience due to the inundation of ads. For example, when you're enjoying YouTube, it's a bit irritating when an ad suddenly pops up. Too many ads can make users dislike the service. Furthermore, this free model also has an aspect of stifling technological innovation. This is because by relying on advertising revenue, service providers focus on collecting more user data, reducing the room to provide new value and features. This carries the risk of delaying long-term technological evolution by being biased towards creating a mechanism to make people click on ads. Let's look at a concrete example here. China's major companies Tencent and Alibaba adopt a model in which they receive money directly from users, rather than an advertising-centered revenue model like Google. For example, Tencent's WeChat has adopted a mechanism in which users are directly charged when they shop within the app or enjoy games. In this way, a model that generates revenue without relying on advertising creates room to focus on improving the quality of services and technological innovation. Thus, the free model seems attractive at first glance, but behind it lies the problem of our data utilization and dependence on advertising. So, what kind of model is needed in the future? It is a new mechanism where users feel, trust, and pay directly for value. This will improve the transparency of the service and enable sustainable growth without relying on advertising. The future economic system, Cryptocosm. Have you ever heard of the word Cryptocosm? In this book, Life After Google, the concept of Cryptocosm is proposed as the economic system of the future. In a word, it is a decentralized economic system based on blockchain technology. This system aims to overcome the challenges of centralized models like Google and create a fairer and more transparent world. First, let's look at the basic concept of the decentralized system that Cryptocosm aims for. In today's systems like Google and Facebook, huge amounts of data are managed by one huge company. This is called a centralized system. In this system, all data is concentrated in one place, so there is a high risk of hacking and data leakage, and our privacy may be threatened. On the other hand, in Cryptocosm, data and transactions are managed in a decentralized manner across the entire network, not in a centralized manner. For example, imagine a system that allows you to send money directly without going through a bank. This is the power of decentralization. In this system, transactions become more transparent and it becomes easier to build trust. Here's an easy-to-understand example. Suppose you buy a house from Mr. A. Traditionally, you would enter into a contract with a lawyer or real estate agent as an intermediary and check whether the transaction is legitimate. However, by using smart contracts based on Cryptocosm, these processes can be replaced with programs. When the conditions of the contract are met, the transaction is automatically concluded. This reduces brokerage fees and avoids troubles. Furthermore, this Cryptocosm can be applied not only to financial transactions, but also to a wide range of fields such as data management, education, and healthcare. For example, if Cryptocosm is used to manage medical data, patients will be able to fully control their own data. This will prevent misuse and unauthorized access to medical data, while allowing them to safely share the necessary information with their doctors when needed. However, Cryptocosm also has its challenges. For example, blockchain technology requires a lot of electricity, so the environmental impact is a concern. In addition, the public's understanding of new technology has not kept up, so it will take time for it to become widespread. Still, the potential of this technology is immeasurable. The author predicts that Cryptocosm will end the dominance of giant corporations like Google and become the foundation of a new economic system. If this vision is realized, we may be able to obtain a more free and secure society. Hope for a new era. So far, we have talked about the modern digital society built by Google and its limitations. And we have also seen how blockchain technology, which is said to be the next step, has the potential to change the future. This new era aims to create a world where each of us can manage our data and value more safely and freely. Imagine it. A future where you can safely send money, make contracts, and manage your data, no matter where you are, without relying on anyone else's help. This is not just convenient, but also gives you the trust and security of knowing that you can control your own information. And the true appeal of this technology is that it is not just a tool, but has the power to change the entire system of society and create a more fair and transparent world. Of course, new technology always comes with challenges. The key is how to accept them, face them, and grow them. And in order to build this future, it is important for each of us to learn about new technology and deepen our understanding. On this channel, we would like to continue to provide information that will be useful for such a future. Finally, we have a request for everyone. This Book Summary Library channel is working hard every day to become the best book explanation library in Japan and the world. If you find this video, please support us by liking and subscribing to the channel. And if you have any requests for books that you would like us to explain, please let us know in the comments section. Thank you very much for your hard work today. I hope that listening to this story will make you feel more positive. And as you look towards the future, I sincerely hope that you will soar high into the future. You will definitely succeed, so just believe in yourself and move forward. Lena is always rooting for you.